Howdy folks, LP Guru here signing in for Let's Play Final Fantasy 1, Episode 18. As always, I'm going to be picking up right where the previous episode ended. And in the amount of time that has passed since the previous episode was recorded, I have come to remember things properly. So this is the location we will be heading to, and the dungeon is called the Ice Cavern. Many important events will be playing out over the course of the quite possibly next few episodes, but I'm going to try my best to get this dungeon knocked out in a single recording. Mostly because I'm going to switch back to the world map really quick, but mostly because we have all this traveling to do. We've got to sail to this dock to the right of the cursor and then traverse all of the waterways in order to get to the Ice Cavern. So it's going to take quite some time just to do that. So I'm not going to waste time looking at the world map screen. I'm actually going to get to it. A lot of content to cover in this episode. And overall, we are about halfway through the entire game. We're still another equipment shed. Don't miss where I need to go. I need to go to the left. I don't need to miss that. Alright, get in there. Get in there, please. Thank you. But there's quite a bit of extra story content to complete. Not just this episode, but the course of the next however many episodes that it may take to complete. But yes, it's very safe to say that this is the turning point in the game from whatever episode it was that I first talked about this. We're finally reaching at the point where it takes a lot of time and a lot of traveling is required to get to the next, destination. And it happens rather unexpectedly, too. I will add. You will more than likely recognize some of this area, but we are now directly south of. Get all my selections in. My controller didn't want to do proper input there for a second. But we are now directly south of Provoca. And if I'm being honest, I might have sailed a little too far to the north. Let me backtrack really quick. Backtrack and take a look. We might have been able to have reached. Okay, everybody's gonna run away. Alright, well, that works too. Oh, I think I know. I remember now. I remember. I wasn't supposed to dock where I ended up docking. It'll be easier to show everyone what I'm talking about than to simply talk about it. So let me get through this fight really quick. And I will attempt to do so. Man, I don't remember the enemy encounter rate being as elevated as it is through here, but of course I could also be remembering wrong. That would not be a first at all. And that's definitely at this point where the most basic of random encounters really become more annoying than anything else, because they simply waste time. They give next to no experience. So you just have to make it a point to get through them as quickly as possible. And I'm checking our level. I wasn't sure if we were level 30 or not. We are, yeah. And a good ways into it as well. I couldn't remember. But yes, you don't dock here. Really? Yet another fight? Oh, come on then. But the nice thing is, at this point, you know that the majority of the monsters are going to run away, so you don't have to worry about trying to queue up any kind of magic to cast. Don't do it. Don't make that mistake. Because you could very easily end up with only one goblin guard. And that wouldn't be worth fire to. Alright, now we're back to the ship. And it's right here I'm supposed to go to. As you get to the river, you can automatically switch to the canoe once you get to the river. As I just settle that out of place. So looking at the world map, we need to go north. I'm sure I'll have to check it at least one more time. But there's only a certain path. There's only one way to get there. Oh, great. No, I do not want a repeat. No, no, no. Gladly use 1 MP for Bolt 3. Rather be safe than sorry. And just like that, we have leveled up. But yeah, there's only one path that can be taken to get there. And it's easy to take the wrong path, which is why I am continuously checking the world map. And yes, Sabin took a good bit of damage. Still, well, a minor hit thankfully, but still. Cure 3 to the rescue. Not even going to take that chance. Really? And that's all that's restored? Well, just go into complete offense and end the fight. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do. Especially when Cure 3 falls flat. Well, that was kind of embarrassing. Not even gonna lie. Here I was expecting to restore at least 100 hit points, and nope, boy was I wrong. Alright, one more time for the world map. But we're in the home stretch now, yeah. Make sure to go left right here. Yeah, I'm just gonna double down on dishing out some major damage to the white croc. No unnecessary chances being taken here. And since some of the monsters being encountered have proven that they're very capable of inflicting at least 100 hit points of damage, it's super important to keep everyone close to their max hit points. I'll be surprised. As I was starting to say, I would be surprised if any enemy actually sticks around, and as I was starting to say that, they started to prove my point before I had even made it. There's really no avoiding this, and normally, since the first two major story-related dungeons, that is with the elemental fiends, since they have been completed, you are at a level where most monsters will run away from you. Now, granted, the exception, of course, is, you know, when you get someplace like here, where you are encountering new dungeon-specific, monsters. They don't tend to, run away. But your typical run-of-the-mill average enemy encounter on the overworld screen, they will run. And there's no getting around that. Because the longer you play this game, you will you will inevitably level up. And they're just programmed. And they're just programmed that way. Once you reach a certain level, lower level monsters run away. No getting around it, and nothing you can do to control it. Just gotta take it in stride. Now here though, I need to switch over to the flame sword. I forgot to. But most monsters here are also going to be weak to fire. So you need to make sure to exploit that weakness. Actually, I take that back. I do not. It's the ice brand. I was confused. I do not have a fire-based weapon yet. It's coming eventually at some point in the game, but no, now. I remembered wrong. What's new? But what I was starting to say, oh look, familiar faces. But still always make it a point to get shield to cast, because they may not do much damage to your warrior, but everyone else is still pretty susceptible. But it's important to be a certain level, even in this dungeon, because as it's being witnessed, everything is still capable of packing a mean punch, and it's just punching right through the armor that the monk, white mage, and black mage have equipped. So do not underestimate the importance of leveling up. But thankfully, a good bit of experience is being given. Right under the 95, well, it's being given per fight, is what I meant to say. And right under 9,500 experience points are required for the next level up. So typically speaking, so long as you're able to get your attacks in, it's a dead end. But as long as you're able to get your attacks in, and in time as well, you don't have to worry about taking too much damage. But again, you have no... Where am I going? Haste is what I need. Definitely put it on the warrior, since our monk should be able to take these out in a single hit. But always be aware of everything good that miss. Mind Blast tends to be pretty nasty if it connects. Thankfully it did not, and we were spared. But back to what I was saying a minute ago, in a previous episode I said this, and I will reiterate its importance, but you yourself have no control over the timing of attacks. So what I mean isn't necessarily that, but what I mean when I do say such things is simply this: pay attention to the action you are going to take. Actually give things thought, because that can make or break fights. That can be the difference between, life or death in certain fights. Granted, when you're facing off against monsters you have never encountered before, you have no way of knowing certain things ahead of time. But a good general rule of thumb is, if you're encountering all new enemies, the enemy that looks the worst typically is. So if your gut tells you to focus your attention on a particular enemy first, don't ignore your gut. Every now and then the game will switch things up and prove you wrong. So sometimes what I just said will actually be opposite effect in truth. But majority of the time, if something looks really bad, if a particular monster looks really, nasty and looks like it could, pose a serious, threat, yeah, it typically means that that is the case. So just go ahead and concentrate on taking that particular monster out first. Most of these fights are rinse and repeat, especially when you only have 2 of them. But in larger groups, magic is required, because they are capable of, I believe they are the first monster that is capable of inflicting more than one type of status ailment with their physical attack. So normally, you can either be poisoned or you can be blind or blinded, however you want to phrase that. But typically speaking, it's only one status ailment. But some of these monsters are capable of, putting your characters to sleep or blinding them. I think there's one more they can do, but I can't think of what it is right off. But off of simply a physical attack. So it's not just a matter of, oh, it's not that big of a deal because it's whatever. There we go. There we go. I didn't know it was this soon into this dungeon, but I'm not complaining. Alright. Now we're in business. See what's in this chest. Aside from a possible, holy cow, okay. These do not look. These do not look particularly friendly. I don't seem to have too many hit points. Okay, good, they don't. So, haste will be a waste. No rhyme intended, but it will be. But I won't be mad so long as they can be taken down, or the last remaining ones can be taken down before anything nasty can happen. And that's exactly how it played out. So I'm definitely happy. Let's have a lot of different... Really? Just a shirt? Alright. So let's have a particularly nasty collection of spells. So I was glad they would have taken them out. Both, they do a lot of damage, both offensive spells and a lot of status altering spells, so it's very important to take those out as fast as possible. So here we are. I'm not wanting to talk too much about story related elements in this dungeon. I don't want to give things away when things should play out as they play out, but the object in front of us is what we are here for. But there's no way to get to it because there's cracks all on the floor, and when you go for it, you fall through. But there will be another way. There will be another way to get to it. Yeah, there's a lot I could say about this particular point in the game that we're at, but I'm not, for obvious reasons. This is a very heavily laden story related dungeon. And just like Mount Gulch, and I really do hope I've always been pronouncing its name right, and that it's not, yeah, see, case in point exactly, right here. Yeah, you don't want to mess around with these. I'm gonna attempt to see if I can paralyze one of them. Everyone else will be okay because they should be taken down with each attack. But our black mage is my main concern right now, so. Okay, so it must be immune to being paralyzed. But we made it through that fight. And that's all that matters. Wasn't pretty. Thankfully no one was knocked out, but yeah. Trying to remember what I was saying before I got in that fight. Oh, we're at a point in the game where there's no clear direction again, but our direction, right under 5,000 to level up, but our direction was provided earlier, much earlier in the game. It's a dead end. And something else. I'll finish this thought and then get back to what I was saying, because I do remember what I was saying before that fight. But our direction was given much earlier in the game, but I won't speak on that at this particular moment. I will allow future events to play out and let the game pretty much speak for itself. So having said that, now I'll get back to what I had been saying. I always pronounce things Mount Gulge. It could be called Mount Golg. I've never actually heard it pronounced, so it's yet another one of those 4 instances on personal preference, so forth and so on. But if anyone has, actually heard the true pronunciation of that location, once again, please feel free to sound off in the comments and let me know. But the whole thing that reminded me of Mount Gulge is this little area that we've been walking over. You receive 1 hit point of damage whenever you walk on it. So that's what reminded me of the previous dungeon. Just gonna try to go on the offense and hope for the best. I thought that might be the case. I thought the monk might be able to help us out, and he was. 1 hit. So 1 hit wonder, man. Alright, so I'm gonna get the ice armor equipped, and if you notice, it has the exact same parameters as the flame mail, I think is its name. But the main difference, and I already have a pair of mithril gloves equipped, so I'm good there. And I think you have to get in the fight again. No getting around it. But the main difference between the flame mail and ice armor is just their special attribute. That's all. Don't get me wrong. It's still super important to get it. And this was not a dead end. Right here, there you go. I had just simply gone the wrong way. Sometimes it blends in with the rest of the environment. No, what the hell? I don't need shield 2 for once. I need to go on the offense. Take these out. But yeah, sometimes the environment can just blend in with itself and can confuse you and make you think you're in a dead end when really there's a path the entire time. That's what just happened to me. Yes, this is a fairly, I'm using that word very lightly, but this is a fairly straightforward dungeon. I mean, it is easy to get turned around if you're not careful, but it's not a super devastating thing if you were to get turned around, because thankfully each path isn't super lengthy. So like here, it's a dead end. No way to know that ahead of time, but the entrance to the path is right here the entire time. Alright, Fire 3, come on now. That's not nice. And I really don't understand why out of everyone, Vivi is taking the most damage from that. I would think he would take, in a general sense, I would think that our Black Mage would take the least amount of damage, since I think I think being the key word here, but I think our black mage has the highest intelligence stat. I'm checking that right now. Intelligence of 50. Yeah, he had a higher intelligence, well, highest intelligence overall. So, I'm not really sure what all that's about. Nothing else to put on for now. Check Rosa. No, she's identical, so I really don't know. That really is weird. Normally there's an actual logical way to explain certain things, but that's not the case there. Yeah, as I said in the previous episode, it really is a game changer once you unequip your monk of a weapon. Just let him go ham, let him go crazy. I doubt there's a need for shield 2, but just to be safe. And no, there wasn't. But no, your monk really will easily become even more powerful than your warrior at that point. Alright, there's like a ton of money here. I really don't remember if there are any trigger encounters in this room, but we will definitely be finding out in the very near future. And yep, there's one right here. And as soon as I don't cast magic, that's when they show out. But thankfully that doesn't do too much damage. I was thinking it would do more, but it did not. And I'm thankful for that. Alright, getting through that fight. Going to heal up, of course. I'm gonna take a look though. Yeah, I've been going a bit crazy with that spell, so I'm gonna try to dial that back a notch. Mostly because Dia 2 has also been used a few times, so we got to remember to be mindful of that. Oh, really? And that's all they were guarding. It's just 180 kill. Now, I understand it. I could have understood it. I mean, they have been guarding this chest. I said, well, there were 5,000 gil, or even this chest, which almost had 8,000 gil. But to only guard 180, I think, was the amount. It's kind of comical. Yeah, I'll take physical damage from the Winter Wolf any day over it using Ice Storm, I think is the name. I'll deal with that little bit of damage any day of the week. we should be close to a level up. That's why I'm checking, and yeah, 771 more points, so that's really like 2 more fights. Yeah, I just gotta focus and hope that your warrior and monk can get their turns in first. So long as that happens, you are pretty much always guaranteed an easy time. Take my chances with fire too, because these are capable of inflicting stone, and I'm very, very glad that they did not. So we dodged that bullet because stone is viewed identical as to the KO status. And I might have mentioned this at some point in the past, but if a character is under the stone status element, when a fight ends, they do not receive any experience. So that's why I always try to avoid being inflicted with stone status. Let's see if poison has any effect. But at this point, your black mage kind of just doesn't serve a purpose in these types of fights, and poison did nothing, as you all saw. But there's no point in putting haste on either of the fighter characters. There's just no point. They can easily, take each Pisco demon out in a single attack. So, you're better off not wasting VMP. But yes, this dungeon is kind of lengthy, but the main deciding factor in this episode quite possibly being the length that it's going to end up being is mostly due to the fact that traveling requires so much time. I'm sitting here with bated breath while waiting to see if anyone was going to be afflicted with stone. It's one of the reasons why I was kind of hesitant to just have, the white mage attack physically. I wasn't sure if that was a trigger encounter, and it was not, but man, 10,000 gil. I will take it. But the catch-22 is you never know ahead of time who could possibly be afflicted with stone status. It's kind of a wait and see kind of situation. But the really crappy thing, and the most dangerous thing too, is if out of all your characters, if your white mage is the one that is afflicted with stone status, because then you could very easily find yourself in the situation of not being able to remedy the condition because your black mage is the only person who is capable of curing that status ailment. So that's another reason why I always try to stress and emphasize the importance of keeping plenty of restorative items on hand. But for obvious reasons, if your white mage is ever taken out of the fight in whatever sense, and you don't have certain items. Right now we only have 2 gold needles, so I need to make it a point to purchase more, and I don't think we have any Phoenix down at all. So I need to, if I'm being perfectly honest, we may not have reached that point in the game yet, but regardless, I need to stock up on as many restorative items as possible. I need to practice what I'm currently preaching right now, as stated a few times now. Your white mage is your only source of restoration, so it's super important to have all the items you need just in case your white mage is taken out. More Pisco demons. Not exactly sure where live commentary might have skipped out, but it did. I just noticed. Hopefully it hasn't been for too long, but as always, if it's needed, I will go back and do any kind of editing. It's always annoying. But as I was saying, the staircase in the upper right corner leads back outside of the dungeon. But the main drawback to it is if you take it and you go outside the dungeon, once you come back in, you have the entire dungeon to explore again. But that staircase is there in case you need to return to the surface. Then you can use something like a cottage, which I don't know if I've ever really shown off. I think everything's sort of okay. I don't think I've shown off certain items like the tent. As you can read, restores a lot of hit points to the party. It also, you can also use it to save your game. You can only use it outdoors. But main reason why I've held off on doing so far is because I believe they're quite pricey. I'll have to get back to a shop that sells them to see, because I might be mistaken about that. But the main reason, money aside, the main reason why I have yet to use any of them is because we haven't been in a very time-consuming, like super lengthy place. That's the main reason I have held off on using them in the past. And the main difference between the cottage is that it restores, like fully restores, the entire party's hit points and magic points. Whereas the tent, I think it's like 50%. It says restores a lot, but it's really like restores like 50%. Cottage restores 100%. But both items are identical in every other regard. So yeah, but having come across, I think it was a sleeping bag I got, yeah. So a little bit. So this is like either 10% or 25% that it restores, but it just restores a percentage of hit points, and the other two restore a percentage of both hit points and magic points, with the cottage restoring the most and restoring all. So, and we are in great shape, and we do not need to take advantage of any of that. We're going to go ahead and take on the boss, but I'm checking out everybody's health right now, and we all look good. So here we go. The Evil Eye. Not really sure what all it's capable of doing. I'm sure it has a lot of nasty spells, but it's dead. So we don't have to worry about encountering any of that. Who knew? I had no idea it had so few hit points. But with its defeat, we are now free to claim the Levy Stone. And there's no way to get out of this but to drop on down and go through the dungeon yet again. It won't take too long though. Won't take long at all. But yeah, this is a trigger point. There's no getting around this either, because it's evenly spaced across the entire floor. So it's the entire width of the room. There's a trigger panel, trigger tile on each one. So there's no bypassing it. You just have to take it on and get through it. This is also the main reason why, and really only one left for Fire 2 to take out. But this is the main reason why that staircase existed. Prior to getting the Levy Stone. That's also your way out. But I can't emphasize the importance of not using that staircase unless you really, really need to before taking on the Evil Eye. Like I just stated before, it returns you to the surface, and if you're not done with this dungeon, then you would have the entire dungeon to have to travel through again. So always bear that in mind. Thankfully, it's a very short journey. We're already back to the same floor that we had been on. Now it's just a matter of getting through these last few fights and getting out of this place. More Pisco demons. That's just as well that Vivi missed. I mean, he only does like 1 hit point of damage, so no big deal. Alright, now we're done with that part. And kind of breathe a little easier knowing that you're free of that area. And we're right over the, well, not really right over, but we are over the 9,500 experience point requirement to level up, and that is a good piece. It's not terrible. Wrong option. Come on now. Still get shield 2 in place just to be safe, but you know, almost 10,000 experience being required. It is a good piece, but the amount of traveling, just like with when we were taking on the Mount Gulch dungeon, the amount of waterways traveling that you have to do, you earn a good bit of experience. Along the way, so it's not horrible, but it's still, you know, it does take a little bit of time. But you just gotta be patient. And I tend to use Bolt 3 instead of Bolt 2 in the off chance that this kind of fight is experienced, where the spell is the very first action that is taken. because then it has the entire fight play out very quickly. Not always guaranteed, but when it does happen, it's nice. And yeah, we go north. I remember I almost looked at the world map. I was like, no, I do remember this part, at least. The other part I may have to reference, but we will see. And the lifesaver though here, when you were facing off against white crops, it's for shield 2 to be the very first action taken. There's just such a devastating physical strength. That was over 100 hit points of damage, which normally would have been either right around or at least 200 hit points of damage had shield not been in place. But it's definitely worth all the hardships because it's got a little over 1,300 experience points in that one fight. So you just have to weigh things out. You really do. Is the risk worth the reward? But not only that, in this particular case, since we haven't saved recently, that's the main deciding factor in all of this. As to, am I going to spend time, and I'm going to look at the map really quick, but am I going to spend time trying to level grind in this area, or am I going to just get back to town and not take any unnecessary risk? And I'm looking at the world map one more time so that I know the best route to take, because our destination is not Crescent Lake. We are done with it, but it's actually the closest save point that can also get us where we need to go afterwards. The really nice thing is now that you have the canoe, you don't have to rely on a dock if there is a river nearby. Keyword being, well, keywords really being if there is a river. If there's not any other kind of waterway, then yes, you must rely on a dock. Two of the four taking out my poison, and one will run away. And this one will not be so lucky. So, very unexpectedly, the Ice Cavern dungeon is completed. Well, I'm not going to say unexpectedly completed in this episode. I always had the intention of completing it in this episode. But what is unexpected is that all this was taken care of in way less time than I thought. Still a very decent everything. and hopefully a very decent experience for everyone watching. But for me, I mean, same thing for me. I'm not trying to say that that's not why that but is there. The but exists simply because I'm surprised that everything was completed in the time frame that it was completed in. So in the very next episode, we're going to be taking the Levy Stone back to the people who need it. Still, spoiler free from me. But we're going to be taking the Levy Stone back to the people who need it and see how they can aid us in continuing our search for the 2 remaining crystals. As always, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all in the very next episode. LP Guru, signing out.